Season, Cy Sneed was on the mound. He was good. 8 strikeouts in 6 innings. No runs. Bottom 2, no score. 2 on for John Kemmer. Hits one hard on the ground. It gets through the infield and scores a run. Kemmer's 30th RBI of the season. The Grizzlies' second run scores on a wild pitch. J.D. Davis is going to come home here from third. Grizzlies get 2 in the second, 2 in the third, 2 in the seventh. They win 6-2. They take 2 of 3 from the Sky Sox. Tonight, they'll start a 4-game series against Oklahoma City, the Dodgers affiliate, and it's Superheroes Night. In the California League, the Rawhide loses 1-0 at Modesto. That ends a 3-game winning streak. Finally, the Washington Capitals are Stanley Cup champions. They beat the Vegas Golden Knights last night 4-3, winning the series 4-1. The Capitals have been around since 1974. This is their first title. Alex Ovechkin wins the Conn Smythe Trophy as playoff MVP. Dodgers win, Giants were off, and ex-President Sloane Stephens is in the final at the French Open. That's your look at sports, everyone. Have a great day.
All right, Andrew, thanks. When we come back this morning, a special tribute to some Valley veterans along one of Fresno's busiest roads. We'll be right back.
CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
It's 5:25. Check out this artwork from McLean High School students on display at Fresno's Art Hop last night. They've been working on this exhibit all semester. It focuses on foster care. Students sharing their personal experiences through their writing, sculptures, and portraits.
The resiliency of our students and the things that they go through, even as young children, is pretty dramatic. And my hat goes off to them.
The students will donate the money they make from selling the artwork to a nonprofit adoption agency. The exhibit is on display throughout the month at the M Street Art Complex. 8 local World War II veterans were honored with flags with their names lining Kings Canyon Road.
CBS 47's Connie Tran spoke to them about this special tribute.
These men fought for our country and the American flag. So on Thursday, they were given flags of their own.
As we all know, this is Kings Canyon Boulevard, but today, you know, I'd like to take the privilege of giving it another name. And as of today, it will also be known as the Boulevard of American Heroes.
The names of veterans Bill Biggers, Frank Cristando, David Fucinato, Ray Lee, Harold Horg, Charles Terrazas, Harold Hudson, and Les Traeger will hang high, along with the branch of military they served in.
But we hope that this will be
Fresno City Council member Luis Chavez says these World War II vets got chosen because they were wounded in combat and served honorably.
And it's a reminder of the liberties that we have, the freedom, and making sure that we know and understand and appreciate the sacrifice that they did for our country.
Traeger says the flags are in honor of all veterans.
For all of the past military people that have given their lives, their service to this country, I'm very pleased that it is being executed in this manner.
Chavez says he looks forward to expanding this flag project to more parts of Fresno and including veterans of other wars. In Southeast Fresno, Connie Tran, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
Good to see that. Thanks, Connie. It's 5:27 now. Coming up, a war of words ahead of today's G7 summit. The part of the summit President Trump says he won't be attending. We'll be right back.
Now, CBS 47 Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
Chef and television host Anthony Bourdain has died. He was 61 years old. CNN reports Bourdain committed suicide. He was in France working on an upcoming episode of his award-winning CNN series. Bourdain's close friend found him unresponsive in his hotel room this morning. Not a lot of details have been released yet. We're working to get those. But again, Anthony Bourdain found dead this morning at 61 years old. Sad news. Thank you for joining us. I'm Alex Backus.
I'm Joey Horta. It is 5:30, and today President Trump is traveling to the G7 summit in Canada. Unlike previous years, the U.S. and its allies are not on the same page when it comes to many of the issues being talked about by world leaders, including Trump's new tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. Other countries are retaliating with their own tariffs on American products. World leaders also expect to confront the president over their differences on the Iran deal and climate change.
Disappointed with the American decision to step away from the JCPOA on Iran.
The White House says Trump will be leaving the summit early and skipping the part about climate change and the environment. One of his aides will be taking his place.
Developing in Fresno, police are looking for a man accused of shooting and killing a Fresno State student back in 2016. Investigators say in September of that year, Kenneth Lee, Devin Fisher, and a juvenile got into an argument with 25-year-old Baraket Shita in the parking lot of a Shell gas station. It used to be on Blackstone and Dakota. Shita drove off to a nearby store. The three people followed him, and police say Lee and Fisher shot and killed him.
The death of Baraket Shita left behind not only a fiance and a broken family, a father, but also two young boys who are going to grow up fatherless.
Chief Dyer says Shita was pursuing a degree in civil engineering at Fresno State when he was killed. Kenneth Lee is now behind bars, but right now police are still looking for Devin Fisher. He is considered armed and dangerous. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 498-STOP.
Today, the 18-year-old who threatened to shoot up a high school graduation is heading back to court again. Kyle Dwelly from Buchanan High School pleading not guilty to multiple felony charges for criminal threats. Last night, Clovis police increased their patrols during graduation. Families who went say they were glad to see more officers on campus.
I am so confident in the Clovis Police Department. I love them. I love living here, and I have no problem whatsoever with what's going on tonight and their presence here.
Teen's being held without bail. He'll be back in court today for another bond hearing. Let's turn to weather. Feels really comfortable for June.
How longer will that last?
A few more hours for today. We're going to soar back up, of course, into the 90s. The good news happens this weekend, though, so not to worry. It's a little cool to mild, depending on where you are across the valley floor this morning, but there's better news on the way, both for Saturday and Sunday across the area. We'll show you right now temperatures across the valley floor in the low 60s from Fresno down to Hanford, upper 50s in the Visalia area, 57 in Porterville, and temperatures back into the upper 40s for our friends there in Oakhurst and also over in Sequoia. We will see a mixed bag there when it comes to your air quality for today. So Merced, Madera, and Kings counties are in the good range. However, Fresno and Tulare have now shifted back into the moderate range. So folks with breathing issues, just want to be aware of that as you're heading out and doing those outside activities on today. School day forecast, it is the last day of school for a lot of kids around the valley. 79 degrees through your lunch hour, 89 as you get ready to start your summer break. Stay tuned. We'll talk much more about the full forecast coming up.
All right. A Los Angeles mom will spend the rest of her life in prison for torturing and killing her 8-year-old son. Pearl Fernandez killed her son Gabriel in 2013 with the help of her boyfriend. He got the death penalty. According to prosecutors, the couple worked together to hide the abuse.
That was horrendous, inhumane, and nothing short of evil. The repeated beatings, burning, starving, binding, shooting Gabriel with BBs that were embedded in different parts of his body.
4 social workers in L.A. also facing criminal charges of neglect in connection to the boy's death.
Sacramento is looking to sell some of its water. Water providers filed an application with the state to divert up to 12,000 acre-feet of water from the Sacramento River and sell it downstream to water districts in the Fresno and Bakersfield areas. It's enough water to supply 12,000 homes for a year.
That's our water. Like, I feel like we deserve the water. If we live up here, we should have it.
I want to be sure that it's going to the right place and that we're not going to be suffering later because of it.
This is a situation where we have water to provide them, and we can provide them water.
Sacramento will get more than $2 million from this sale. Most of the proceeds will go toward modernizing the city's 27 underground wells, so they will be ready before the next drought hits.
This morning, the state still has a lot of votes to count. Election workers have already counted more than 4 million ballots, but they have at least 2.6 million to go. California has about 19 million registered voters. When the rest of the ballots are counted, voter turnout would be about 36%. That's up from a record low of 25% from the 2014 primary. In the North Valley, little girl is getting ready to sell her pig tomorrow at the Merced County Fair, and she's planning to do something really cool with all the money she makes. We first told you about Kaylee Trinidad Monday. She's a member of the Snelling 4-H Club. This is her pig, Coconut, and when she sells the pig at the livestock auction Saturday, she's going to donate half the money she makes to help this Merced police detective who's battling brain cancer. This is Detective Joe Henderson here with his family. Kaylee is helping him out. The auction Saturday starts at 9:30. If you want to support Detective Henderson, you can bid on Kaylee's pig. It's going to be pretty excited to see how much that pig goes for.
Hopefully it will be a lot, and I bet
Yeah.
it will.
Oh, I bet.
Yeah.
It's going to be big. It's 5:36, and the lines will be forming pretty soon for some people who want to buy Fresno State's popular sweet corn.
You can get it at the Gibson Farm Market starting at 7 o'clock this morning, and we have live pictures from there to show you of that sweet corn. You can see it in the bins. It is getting ready to be sold. So you can also go tomorrow from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. and Sunday from 8 a.m. till 5 p.m. We have more details about it on our website, yourcentralvalley.com. So we took a live picture about a half an hour ago, I would say. We saw a few people kind of trickling in, one person in line. So those lines always get really long on this day.
Got to get out there, folks. When we come back on Eyewitness News this morning, why the search for survivors is on hold after that deadly volcano eruption in Guatemala.
And taxing tech companies, why the Bay Area wants the companies to pay up for issues in the city.
And temperature-wise, that roller coaster continues, but at least it's getting a little cooler over the next few days. We'll talk about it coming up.
Now, your CBS 47 pinpoint weather forecast.
Good morning and happy Friday. I'm Anthony Bailey here with a check of your forecast. There's a lot to smile about in this forecast. Let's get right to it, folks. Live pinpoint Doppler radar showing you a very quiet picture out this morning. We will continue this dry spell that we've seen really over the last couple of weeks, but the good news is temperatures are feeling more comfortable across the area. Right now, we're back in the mid-50s for Lemoore. 62 degrees this morning in Hanford, and good morning to our friends over in Visalia. Starting your morning off at 59 degrees. We're seeing temperatures slightly warmer than that in the Fresno area, but generally speaking, it's been a really nice weather pattern across the region, and that continues through today. A little warmer than we saw yesterday. We will see the afternoon highs bumping up just a touch as well, but it will be short-lived. Here's why. 91 degrees, of course, for today. We're dropping all the way to 84 as we head into your Sunday afternoon. Now, yesterday's highs topped out just below normal for this time of year for the Fresno area. Not sure you can feel the real difference between the 87 and 90. So we're kind of in that range where we should be. The good news is we're staying well clear of the records, although we do begin to move back into the triple digits as we move into the middle of next week. A large ridge of high pressure will begin to shift back into the area. Cooler influences, though, coming in from the north, of course, bringing some showers in the Pacific Northwest. Where's the rain? Well, you have to travel, of course, several states north of us to be able to see any rain. Cold front moving in, of course, and we'll see the tail end of that pushing into California, but not really having a large impact on the valley floor for you there. Also, some better news on the way here. The U.S. Drought Monitor, of course, updating itself on yesterday. You can see Fresno County is kind of split between the top two categories, abnormally dry and then the moderate realm for the western part of the county. But all in all, pretty good news for us there. And in fact, you can see as we push up in the North Valley that top category abnormally dry is what's covering the Merced County area and also into Madera, and then the eastern part of course, Tulare County heading south. So good news there. We could use a little bit more rain. We're not tracking any in the Central Valley for the next several days. You can see showers on tap for Northern California, the extreme part of the state. Beyond that, we're looking at cloud cover from San Francisco into Sacramento. A few of those clouds could very well trail into the valley before moving over our mountain areas Saturday into Sunday. Measurable rainfall, of course, that next wave of it still staying north of us, even Sunday into Monday. So we just need those systems to shift a little further south. Not only bringing cooler air, but it'd be nice to get some measurable rain in our region as well. Tee time forecast. It is a great day for a round of golf. Their morning tee times in the 60s today. We're going to be just shy of the 80-degree mark if you're heading out for a tee time right around lunch, of course, and then we're pushing into the lower 90s as we head into the afternoon today, where temperatures from Fresno down to Coalinga will be in the 90s. The same for, of course, Hanford over to Porterville as well. On the north end of the valley, temperatures just shy of the 90-degree mark. They're back in the 80s from Madera. 85 on tap for Oakhurst, 80 degrees in Shaver, and of course we will see a nice mild day there for Yosemite as well. Overnight lows, this is much better for most areas. Fresno still holding in the 60s, but we are seeing 50 surrounding us, which is definitely great news for them. A little recovery through the overnight hours. And extended forecast, breezy through the weekend, temperatures dropping into the 80s, and have to mention it because it's on the way, folks. Next Wednesday, it's a return to our friend, the triple digits. Maybe our enemy. I'm not so sure it's our friend.
Yeah,
we don't get along.
Not my friend.
But the next day's fine.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. So we're getting these little quick taste of triple-digit temperatures, like a little spike of heat,
yeah,
and then we'll cool off again. And this whole
that's fine, as long as it's not, you know, several weeks.
Yeah. No heat wave so far.
Yeah, we could do that.
Keep it that way.
Thank you.
This morning, the state is suing the makers of 2 formulas for toddlers. The state attorney general says Peaceful Planet Toddler Supreme Formula and Sammy's Milk free-range goat milk toddler formula have 13 to 15 times the maximum amount of lead allowed under Prop 65.
It's a parent's worst nightmare to learn that you may be feeding your child something that is not only not going to make them healthy, but may actually threaten their health.
The court sent cease and desist letters to both companies demanding that they recall the formula. Both companies agree to stop selling the products here in California.
A Bay Area city is looking to tax tech companies. Tech giants are being blamed for big problems like traffic and sky-high housing costs. A Sunnyvale City Council member wants to do what Seattle is already doing. They're making big tech companies pay more taxes to help with community issues. One idea is to use the tax dollars to pay for more shuttles on the road to ease gridlock.
If you are the companies, on the other hand, you're thinking, how bad can this continue to get? It's already very expensive to do business in the Bay Area.
Another idea is to use that revenue to build housing or offer subsidies for low-income residents.
New details out this week on a deadly crash on Highway 101 involving a Tesla. According to a federal report, just seconds before the car hit a freeway divider in Mountain View last March, the Tesla Model X was on autopilot and went from 62 to 70 miles per hour before slamming into the barrier. The findings are similar to this crash in Utah this May, where another self-driving Tesla started going faster before it crashed into a fire truck, injuring the driver. There's no comment yet from the automaker. Meanwhile, the death toll in Guatemala now at 109, and that number is expected to go up. The search for at least 200 people now on hold. Authorities say the chances of finding survivors is slim. More than 72 hours after the eruption, the U.S. now stepping in to help the victims.
3 weeks, 4 weeks, up to a couple of months of rehabilitation, and then the reconstruction goes on for years.
Villages are buried under ash and debris from Sunday's eruption. Authorities are now warning about the risk for even more toxic lava flows. 12,000 people have already evacuated. And coming up here at 6:30, we'll hear from a local woman who was there when the quake happened and learned what she is doing to help the victims.
25 tons of illegal fireworks that could have sparked massive wildfires have been seized by CAL FIRE. 7 people were arrested, and investigators say those suspects have been illegally importing, storing, and selling those fireworks throughout the entire state for more than 30 years.
We just survived the worst wildfire epidemic in the state's history. Down in my backyard, the Thomas Fire, and up in the North Bay, this state can't afford this kind of ordinance out in our streets.
The only fireworks that are legal to use in California must carry the Safe and Sane label. Well, another effort underway to get plastic straws basically out of restaurants, just ban them in general. Under a new bill, restaurants won't be allowed to provide a straw with your drink unless you ask for it. It would apply only to dine-in restaurants. The measure is an effort to cut down on single-use plastic straws.
Actions to prevent plastic pollution and encourage positive solutions to maintain a healthy ocean free of garbage and single-use plastics.
The legislation was passed by the Assembly this week. It's now being debated in the state Senate.
You might be paying more for your next cup of joe at Starbucks, the company raising the price of regular brewed coffee by 10 to 20 cents. The increase affects all sizes. The tall, for example, will now cost you nearly $2 depending on where you buy it. Those prices will not go up on other drinks, they say, like lattes and fraps. And now to the latest example of revitalization in downtown Fresno, the historic Peerless building back open after getting a facelift.
The building sits right next door to the Rainbow Ballroom on Broadway downtown. CBS 47's Patrick Nelson gives us an inside look.
4,000 jobs. We're nearly halfway there in 1.5 years.
This building has stood for more than 90 years along Broadway here in downtown Fresno, and a group of investors say it's now the next brick in rebuilding downtown.
This project is all about gut. You can't get, it's difficult to finance because you don't have tenants. But this is a $2 million remodel.
The 30,000 square feet of the Peerless building, originally owned by the Peerless Pump Company in the 1930s, has been given new life. It took 7 years, but after renovations, the building is celebrating a grand opening in an effort to revitalize downtown Fresno.
We've got 1,000 people that live in this neighborhood, the Mural District on the north end of downtown. Those people need places to eat, things to do, right? They need supporting services.
The vision is to fill most of this space with retail and restaurants by 2019. 11,000 square feet of the building is already being reserved for Blue Dolphin Engineering, who is moving in from Madera.
The hope is that we're going to help fledgling manufacturers launch and become something here.
Hosting an art show inside the Peerless building drew hundreds of people to Thursday's grand opening. Developer Nader Assemi hopes it's a sign of things to come.
These last few years, we've really got a lot of momentum, mostly because there's, I think, a new generation of entrepreneur that's taking a risk downtown.
Patrick Nelson, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
It's 5:49, and up next this morning, celebrating the best on Broadway, what you can expect to see Sunday with the Tony Awards return.
This is CBS 47 Eyewitness News with Alex Backus, Joey Horta. Pinpoint weather with Anthony Bailey. CBS 47 Eyewitness News this morning in high definition.
Oprah goes to Washington, and a first look at the long-awaited sequel to The Girl with a Dragon Tattoo.
Danielle Nottingham has today's Eye on Entertainment.
Oprah Winfrey brought her star power to Washington. The media mogul visited the National Museum of African American History and Culture. She delivered the keynote address at the Women's Summit, saying American women are just getting started.
We got first ladies and fearless warriors. We got poets. We got politicians. We even got a princess.
Winfrey took a tour of her exhibit at the museum. Watching Oprah opens today. A new Prince album is being released on September 21st. Warner Brothers Records made the announcement on June 7th, which would have been the musician's 60th birthday. The album will feature 9 tracks from a private rehearsal in the late singer's Minnesota studio. The actress best known for playing Queen Elizabeth is now the tattooed vigilante in the upcoming thriller, The Girl in the Spider.
Take your child and leave. He won't hurt you again.
Claire Foy stars in the long-awaited sequel to The Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, opening in November. Danielle Nottingham at CBS News, Los Angeles.
Broadway is getting ready for the Tony Awards.
Cast members of SpongeBob SquarePants are preparing for Sunday night's Tonys. The musical, based on the long-running cartoon, is up for 12 awards, including Outstanding Featured Actor for Gavin Lee, who plays Squidward.
This performance at the Tonys is going to get the word out to the whole country that this is what the show is like. It's not that cartoon.
SpongeBob is tied for the most nominations with Tina Fey's Mean Girls, which is based on the 2004 movie she wrote. The Tony Awards air Sunday night right here on CBS 47 at 8 o'clock.
Going to be a good show.
Yeah.
Always good. It's 5:54, and when we come back, are we alone? Is there life on Mars? New evidence breathing new life into this age-old debate.
Now, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
Is there life on Mars? A new discovery suggests there might be.
NASA's Curiosity rover has been inching its way across the red planet for nearly 6 years now, and now NASA says it has found something very interesting. Chris Van Cleve explains why.
NASA knows when it says it has an announcement about Mars, everyone will have the same question.
So I'm going to tell you right now, what we're not announcing today is the detection of life.
So, no little green men roaming the red planet.
I'm a Martian!
But what they have found is still pretty exciting, especially for a NASA scientist. It's more evidence that life could have existed on the planet or may still be there. It's based on what the Curiosity rover discovered in an ancient Martian lake bed called Gale Crater. When the rover drilled into rock, it found different types of organic molecules.
Organic material is associated with life on Earth. Everything that we know on Earth associated with biology is composed of organic molecules.
The rover also confirmed seasonal increases in methane gas. On Earth, methane comes mostly from human, animal, and plant life, none of which has been found on Mars.
There's a mystery there as to why it's there, where it's from, and that's what future missions are going to have to figure out.
Because it could be a sign of life.
It could be a sign of life.
Back in 2013, the rover found hints of other organic materials in the same lake bed. But while all of these findings could mean there's life on the planet, there could be other explanations.
They could come from meteorites that are infalling onto the planet, or they could come from the rocks themselves and be washed into this lake by rivers.
So for now, the only real Martians are in the movies. Chris Van Cleve, CBS News, Greenbelt, Maryland.
Yes!
Makes you wonder.
Such a trip.
Yeah,
that is so
that's crazy.
interesting. All right, we'll have to see what happens. 5:58 is the time. When we come back this morning, the Clovis student who threatened to shoot up a high school graduation is headed back to court today. We have that story and much more when we come back.
Now, CBS 47 Eyewitness News begins with breaking news.
Chef and television host Anthony Bourdain has died. He was 61 years old. CNN reporting that Bourdain committed suicide. He was in France working on an upcoming episode of his award-winning series on CNN, Parts Unknown, and his close friend found him unresponsive in his hotel room this morning. Thank you for joining us this morning. I'm Alex Backus.
I'm Joey Horta, and happening today, President Trump is traveling to the G7 summit in Canada. Unlike previous years, the U.S. and allies are not on the same page here when it comes to many issues being talked about by world leaders, including Trump's new tariffs on steel and aluminum imports. Other countries are retaliating with their own tariffs now on American-made products. World leaders also expected to confront the president over their differences on the Iran deal and climate change.
With the American decision to step away from the JCPOA on Iran.
The White House says Trump will be leaving the summit early to skip out on a part about climate change and the environment. One of his aides will be taking his place.
Developing in Fresno, police are looking right now for a man accused of shooting and killing a Fresno State student back in 2016. Investigators say in September of that year, Kenneth Lee, Devin Fisher, and a juvenile got into an argument with 25-year-old Barakit Shita in the parking lot of a Shell gas station that was on Blackstone and Dakota. Shita drove off to a nearby store. Those three people followed him, and Lee and Fisher shot and killed him.
Death of Barakit Shita left behind not only a fiance and a broken family, a father, but also two young boys who are going to grow up fatherless.
Chief Dyer says Shita was pursuing a degree in civil engineering at Fresno State when he was killed. Kenneth Lee is now behind bars, but police are still searching for Devin Fisher. He is considered armed and dangerous. If you have any information, you're asked to call Crime Stoppers at 498-STOP.
Today, the 18-year-old who threatened to shoot up a high school graduation is going back to court. Kyle Dwelly from Buchanan High School in Clovis, pleading not guilty to multiple. Last night, police increased patrols around the graduation. Families who went there say they were glad to see more officers on campus.
I'm so confident in the Clovis Police. I'm living here, and I have no problem whatsoever with what's going on tonight and their presence here.
The teen is being held without bail. He'll be back in court today for another bond hearing. All right, here we go. One more day of work before the weekend gets here.
Yes, we're almost there, Anthony, and the weather's looking nice.
Oh, yeah, it definitely is. You know what, Joey, we got one more day of the 90s as well before things finally cool off over the weekend. That's great news for folks as they head out, of course. All around the area, guys, we're seeing calm conditions out there this morning. Temperatures on the cooler side heading into the mountains and foothill communities for us there. Oakhurst, 47 degrees there for you this hour, 52 in Mariposa, 43 in Sequoia, and we're looking at low to mid 50s stretching across the South Valley. Bless you there. Temperatures here in the Fresno area at 61 degrees. As you can see, weather headlines dry and clear for today. Highs back in the 90s, and yes, there is a triple-digit temperature that does show up in that extended forecast. We'll talk more about it coming up. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Anthony. As temperatures heat up, people are looking for ways to cool off.
CBS 47's Justin Lum shows us what Fresno County Sheriff's deputies are doing to keep them safe on the water.
It's been a busy week in Fresno County for swiftwater rescue teams, and the current of the Kings River isn't moving any slower. That's why training continues for these rescuers. The call rescue teams are preparing for as the river current grows stronger. For hours, the group works on rescue scenarios, swimming at top speed and communicating the best strategies to get to victims, depending on where they're located. Authorities say the water is ice cold and the current is often stronger than it appears.
Either sweep them off their feet or push them into a tree or a branch or something else, maybe submerged they can't see, that can get them into trouble.
And people who like to come here say they've noticed the force of the current.
This year it's crazy. It's really picked up.
I'm standing near the mouth of the Pine Flat Dam, and last year at this time, there definitely weren't people here fishing. Instead, the water looks something like this. With the dam at full capacity last year, authorities closed the Kings River to the public for safety reasons.
Kept our rescue numbers very, very low, but this year we expect that people are going to be making up for it and going out to the rivers a whole lot more.
Curtis's life jacket should always be worn. And remember this tip if you're swept by the current.
Stay on their back, keep their feet up.
Training wraps up Friday in the foothill area above Auberry, and it'll continue back up again in a couple of weeks. Reporting from the Kings River, Justin Lum, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
All right, a Los Angeles mother is going to spend the rest of her life in prison for torturing and killing her 8-year-old son. Pearl Fernandez killed her little boy Gabriel in 2013 with the help of her boyfriend, who got the death penalty. According to prosecutors, the couple worked together to hide the abuse.
It was horrendous, inhumane, and nothing short of evil. The repeated beatings, burning, starving, binding, shooting Gabriel with BBs that were embedded in different parts of his body.
Four social workers in L.A. also facing criminal charges of neglect in connection to the boy's death.
A man is in the hospital this morning after he was hit by a train in Fresno. It happened near Golden State and Maple Avenues last night around 9:30. Fresno County Sheriff's deputies say the man has injuries to his head, but he was alert and talking. He was taken to the hospital, and the cause of that accident is still under investigation.
In the North Valley, a little girl is getting ready to sell her pig tomorrow at the Merced County Fair, which is happening today. And she's planning to do something really neat with the money she makes. We first told you about Kaylee Trindad Monday. She's a member of the Snelling 4-H Club. This is her pig named Coconut. And when she sells Coconut at the auction Saturday, she will donate half the money she makes to help this Merced police detective who is battling brain cancer. This is Detective Joe Henderson, pictured with his family. Kaylee wants to help him out, which everyone is so impressed by. The auction is tomorrow, Saturday. I got a little confused on what day it is today. Tomorrow, Saturday, and that's when the auction happens. Starts at 9:30 a.m. If you'd like to go support that officer, you can bid on Kaylee's pig.
So
it's
fantastic.
Be a big deal.
Yeah, good to see that.
Well, the lines are going to be forming soon here for folks who would like to buy some Fresno State sweet corn.
You can get it at the Gibson Farm Market near campus starting at 7 o'clock this morning. The market will also be open tomorrow from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. and Sunday from 8 a.m. till 5 o'clock. You can see live pictures now of all that sweet corn in those bins, ready for people to come and get it. We have more details about everything going on there on our website, yourcentralvalley.com. Sounds good.
Some butter on that?
Oh,
man.
On the grill.
Ready to go. When we come back this morning on Eyewitness News, now boarding the new flight from Fresno, already wheels up.
And a new report finds the dirtiest beaches in the Golden State, where they are, and the potential health hazards.
And pretty nice weather on tap right here in our own backyard for the weekend. Look at the full forecast coming up.
Now, your CBS 47 pinpoint weather forecast.
Welcome back. I'm Anthony Bailey here. Let's take a look right outside now. Beautiful views over the Fresno area as you're getting there. Friday started, of course, last day of school for a lot of students around the valley. I know they're excited about starting their summer break. And, of course, it is a nice, easy drive in weather-wise to work this morning for many of you as you start your day. How about up in the mountains? If you got the day off and want to do a little hiking, maybe hit a few trails there. We're seeing the sun rising right now over Yosemite. And, of course, the nice dry conditions all across the area, but also clear. Not a lot of cloud cover at all showing up in the satellite picture there this morning. 47 degrees for our friends at Oakers. Good morning to you. 61 right now for Fresno as you travel, of course, up and down the 99 corridor. 56 in Merced, 55 degrees at Hanford, and 57 for our friends over in Porterville. Good morning to you as well. You'll notice this. Temperatures are a little bit warmer than they were yesterday. We're going to see those afternoon highs bumping up just a touch for you. Not enough to really make a huge difference, but it may make a noticeable change later on this afternoon. The wind staying very light as well. Not a lot of breeze out anywhere in the valley or the mountains for that fact. And of course, we will see the temperatures up a few degrees from where we finished off yesterday. And for Fresno, that was 87 degrees out. Of course, normal high for this time of year is 90. The good news is we are all staying south of the record high temperatures, which are in the triple digits. Right now, we won't see any of those in through the weekend, of course, and in the early part of next week. As far as the big picture goes, there's some rain coming down, but you got to travel all the way to the Pacific Northwest to find it. That cold front will be moving onshore. Of course, the tail end of it swings into California with a chance of some light showers here before the weekend is over, but not for the Fresno area. Today's high, of course, is forecast for 91 degrees. The good news is by Sunday, we'll be dropping all the way back into the low to mid 80s across the valley floor. And your air quality for today in the good range from Merced, Madera, and Kings County. Air quality in the moderate range there for Fresno and Tulare. Of course, that's a little bit of a downgrade. So if you have breathing issues, just want to keep an eye on that. It's not in the unhealthy range, but nonetheless, always nice to be aware of what is going on. All right, let's talk about those temperatures. Sunny skies up to 76 through the noon hour for the western side of the valley. It's Pacheco Pass in those areas heading out toward the 152. 88 by 4 o'clock is what we'll hit through later on this afternoon. For Fresno and Clovis, we are looking at a lovely day ahead for us as well. 77 degrees through the 10 a.m. hour. We'll be up to 79 by your lunch hour, and then hitting the lower 90s by 4 o'clock today. As far as the higher elevations go, we showed you that beautiful view there earlier on the Yosemite sky cam. Well, how about the nice 6 degrees through lunch, and we'll push into the low 70s as we head into the afternoon. And of course, 4-day algae forecast for all you algae sufferers back in the medium range, and your extended forecast. There you have it, folks. Topping out at 91 today, back into the 80s there as we head into the weekend. So all in all, things are looking pretty good for us here across the area. There are triple digits, though, on the way as we head into, of course, the middle of next week. But the good news is we'll just see it for a day.
Great news. Love that.
Not trying to see it for any longer than that.
Yeah, exactly. We can just touch and go there.
Yeah, okay. Thank you.
All right, it's 6:14, and you can now fly from Fresno to Chicago all the way there without having any layovers. United Airlines now has a daily nonstop flight from FYI to O'Hare International. And here's what we know. The first flight took off last night, and it landed in Chicago early this morning.
It is a big deal for our Central Valley to have nonstop air service between Fresno and Chicago. And what this means for Central Valley travelers is that they're able to connect to a major hub within the United States and continue their travels onto the East Coast.
United currently offers daily nonstop flights from Fresno to Denver, LA, and San Francisco.
10 California beaches get poor marks as the most polluted beaches in the state. The dirtiest beach, top of that list, is the Pachi Beach in Orange County, followed by Lakeshore Park in San Mateo, Linda Mar Beach in Pacifica, Clam Beach County Park, it's just north of Eureka, and Roosevelt Beach, that's at Half Moon Bay. There's that list. So it's put together by Heal the Bay. They release their beach bummer list each year. The beach at the Santa Monica Pier in Southern California also received a failing grade.
7th most polluted beach in the state is right here at the Santa Monica Pier.
Heal the Bay says taking a dip at those flunking beaches can get you sick and cause things like ear infections. There is some good news, though. The report includes over 400 beaches in all, and 96% of them earned an A or a B.
It's 6:15. A new Prince album is coming out soon. Yesterday would have been the singer's 60th birthday. The album is called Piano and a Microphone 1983. It'll be out September 21st. It has 9 tracks from a private rehearsal. A Los Angeles teen who has a rare skin condition that doesn't allow her to go out in the sun is now a high school graduate.
As the other students stood outside to watch the graduation in the sun, Riley McCoy stayed inside and got prepared. She got all dressed up. If just a little bit of sun hits her body, she could get a severe sunburn, but she didn't let her skin condition stop her from getting her diploma. The announcer didn't even get a chance to call her name out before the crowd started to cheer.
I taught them how to believe in to always, to never give up. And I always try new things and always be kind and just believe in yourself.
Riley plans to go to college and major in theater. That's fantastic.
Good job. Up next this morning, the technology here that saved the life of an educator from Fresno Pacific University and the team approach that made it all possible.
We're not up next year's team.
This is CBS 47 Eyewitness News with Alex Backus, Joey Horta, Pinpoint Weather with Anthony Bailey. CBS 47 Eyewitness News this morning in high definition.
Welcome back. Specialized technology at Community Regional is just one part of what doctors say recently saved a man's life.
Julie Musgrave has the story in this week's MedWatch Today, sponsored by Community Medical Centers.
Really do feel like you've been given a second chance.
Gary Grimmins doesn't remember much.
It was a very, very rapid onset.
But his partner, Maureen Stoney Barrett, certainly does.
The words we got, that I heard, were, if we'd waited much longer, even an hour or so, I think we would have lost this man.
Doctors say the Dean of Education at Fresno Pacific University nearly died from a complicated lung infection. Until, that is, the team at Community Regional got a hold of him.
The moment they laid eyes on you, boy, things really started to move.
Doctors use specialized technology called the ECMO machine. It's seen as a last resort treatment for respiratory, cardiac, and heart failure cases. It's similar to dialysis in that it works like a heart and lung bypass tool, pumping blood out and putting oxygen back in. However, the ECMO can do a lot more, a lot faster.
We technically circulate the blood at least once per minute.
But because the process is complicated, it requires a team effort, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Only the highest level of care hospitals, like Community Regional, choose to invest in that.
So you have to be able to mobilize all of those resources very quickly, and that could not be done in any other institution.
Look at the survival rate after applying the ECMO treatment. National average about 50%. One of the things that's very obvious is without the treatment, they would have been dead otherwise.
For Gary, having access to this team is priceless.
There's a lot of words that we use to describe. Luck would be one of them. Fortunate, blessed, honored, humbled. A lot of words to describe how I feel about the whole process.
And he's looking forward to taking full advantage of that second chance he's been given.
I couldn't move my legs. I wasn't eating because I couldn't swallow. I was on dialysis. I'm off dialysis. I can eat a full meal, and I will walk out of this hospital.
You can catch MedWatch today every Sunday night on CBS 47 at 6:30. It's a partnership with Community Regional Medical Center featuring educational and inspiring medical stories, health tips, and good-for-you recipes, a whole lot more. It's hosted by Julie Musgrave.
It's 6:22 now. This year's Juneteenth Jazz Fest is just a week away. Coming up this morning, we're headed to our kitchen with a preview of what you'll see there this year. Stick around.
Cool. We got 2 minutes or?
No, but yeah, about 2 minutes in the commercial break right now. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. Mic check, 1, 2, 3, 4. And then we'll just kind of walk through it step by step. It'll be live on there, so you'll leave everything separate, and we'll just start putting it all together.
Mic check on your Chris. Mic check, mic check. Mic check, mic check. Have you seen those shots talking?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no problem.
Now, CBS 47 Eyewitness News.
Welcome back. The Juneteenth Jazz Fest is next weekend in Fresno, and this morning we're getting a sample of what's on the menu.
All right, Anthony, what are they cooking?
Well, you know what? I was really excited to have these guys in because they're bringing some dessert items there. Of course, the Jazz Fest going to be a fun event there going on in downtown Fresno and Fulton and the museum. Hector Garcia is here from Hector's Custom Cakes. How are you doing this morning?
I'm doing just fine.
All right, so we understand you're going to be one of the vendors there, and from the items in front of me, I'm already happy. I don't know exactly what you're making, but talk to us about it this morning.
We'll be cinnamon rolls for the event. We'll be doing it at our shop. And,
all right, and it's not like you're going to the store and just grabbing them off the shelf. You're actually making these. Kind of walk us through how you do it.
Yeah, we make the dough from scratch. We use all quality ingredients, and we try to keep it,
So how do we do it? What's step one with getting the cinnamon roll together?
We're gonna get the Swing going, you push
Okay.
it on.
And what kind of dough is this? I know is this something that you put together?
Yeah,
or?
I had to put it together because, you know, so we got to make our own recipe, our own style of cinnamon rolls.
Okay.
So we had to kind of...
So you got the dough rolled out there. What are we adding to it?
Just egg washing it just to keep the cinnamon on, and then...
gotcha.
Yeah.
Talk to us a little bit about it as you're doing that. How long have you been in the custom cake business, and what all do you all make there?
We make custom cakes. We make beer offs. We do any type of sheet cakes, any type of exotic cakes, or something different, anything custom. We specialize in.
Gotcha. All right. Now, what are we piling on now there?
We can do this is our cinnamon blend.
Okay.
Just put
Very nice. And this is something that you've been putting together for a while. You say you've been in the baking business for a number of years.
Yeah, I've never done cinnamon rolls all day, but we started doing them there. In our area used to be an old cinnamon roll shop.
Okay.
So everybody kind of thought that that's the bakery we had took over.
And where are you all located at? What part of town are you in?
We're in off of Fresno at Ashland.
All right, perfect. So there was another older cinnamon roll shop.
Yeah, it was down the street. Yeah, for 30 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So now I'm gonna roll the dough together.
Okay. Folks at home trying to give this thing a shot. I mean, this looks like this is somewhat complex. Or what's the key to making a good cinnamon roll?
You know, just being quick with it and a lot of sugar and a lot of butter.
Oh yeah, you can't go wrong with that.
Yeah.
All right, and so we're going to let you continue to roll that. So we've actually got one in the oven baking there as well. Talk to us about what all you're going to be making. So this is one of the big things you're going to be making out there next Saturday?
Yeah, it's one of our most popular items, and then we're making beer rocks also.
Oh, good. And hopefully we'll have a little sneak preview of those coming up here later on in the show as well. So Saturday, June 16th is the Juneteenth Jazz and Blues Fest. It's actually a two-day event, folks, Friday night and Saturday night. Friday night at the African American Museum, and then Saturday going into the Fulton Street area downtown there, I understand. 6 o'clock to 10:30, and it's free to attend. A lot going on out there. Hector's Custom Cakes, of course. Thanks, Hector, for coming in here. We will have, of course, another dish, another surprise dish, and a look at what these look like when they come out of the oven coming up here in a little bit. I'll tell you guys, I walked into the kitchen, the smell of that cinnamon just hits you. It's like, oh.
I get it everywhere I go.
Yeah.
It comes with me. It goes with me everywhere.
Exactly. All right, guys, let's toss it back to you in the studio.